All right, Shalom. We'll start first by giving all praises and glories unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, call Allah, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai. Double honor to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone who rule well, and greetings, salutations, and blessings unto the elect, those of the house of David that will get salvation in this coming destruction. Shalom. I was walking into the Las Vegas Convention Center and ran across this on the door. It had the Bluetooth sign, and it says, "This property collects location information from mobile devices. If you prefer not to participate, please turn off your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth function or power off." And what dawned on me when I read this was the fact that the way this whole radio frequency Bluetooth thing works, they can just pull stuff right off of your phone, no problem. Well, when it comes down to the chip, that's why all the different information will be able to go through the chip, right? Then it got the thought process went a little further into when the EMP hits, it shuts everything down that is on that radio wave. And I'm gonna go into in this lesson. I'm gonna kind of go into what's gonna happen. And this is kind of a land back, but even though I thought about this days before tonight's, this was August the 19th, 2017, live show from GMS Los Angeles, Ancient of Days, and they went into the EMP and different things like that. Well, I was lining these same scriptures up talking about the EMP, but I kind of go into how it can actually work. So this is what I'm about to get right into it. So, but this is what it says. This property collects location information from mobile devices. It just does that whether you like it or not. So if you prefer not to participate, because if it's on, you're already participating. Now, these are words walking through a door. You're not thinking about reading these words, really. It doesn't say enter or exit, or the name of the convention center. It's not saying all that. So it says, if you prefer not to participate, please turn off your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth function or power off. That's the only way they won't go into your phone and collect information from your mobile device. See who you are. Same thing with the chip. They're going to be able to click right into your chip and know that John Doe or whoever else is walked into this building. Just like in the movie Minority Report when they're doing the eye scan. Same thing. They're going to be able to scan right off your chip and know everything about you and who's where. Just like the information you give them through your social media, your Facebook, and so on and so forth, Instagram, whatever. They can see exactly where you're going to be at. And that technology connects right to the chip, proving that this whole society is set up for the chip. It's still the radio frequency, because Bluetooth, watch, matter of fact, I went into Bluetooth technology, and the deeper this kind of hit me, so I went and looked into it. This is on Wikipedia for Bluetooth. It said Bluetooth is a wireless technology, which the RFID chip, the chip itself, the transmitter, and the chip itself that may have the links for frequencies to the cloud, so to speak, that holds your information. Because I don't think it'll actually hold it in the chip. It could just be held by the cloud, which we know the cloud is out there. We upload and download to the cloud all day, or download from the cloud. We do that all day, so in society. So it's easy for these to be held on the cloud, right? Now, who can go check into the cloud? You might want to ask yourself that. Anyway, it says Bluetooth is a wireless technology standard for exchanging data over short distances using short wavelength UHF radio waves. That's why all these cell towers, let's see if I can look up cell tower right quick. Let's go all the way out. Let's see if they'll let me get some cell tower images, because a lot of these cell towers, it's not going to let me do it. Oops. Salaki brothers, hold on. Let me see if I can get it to do. Should have hit the map. Cell tower images. Yeah, when you go to these cell towers, they're everywhere, man. Look, these things are everywhere. They're hooked. The world is wired. America is wired for this. Most parts of the world. They even have the ones like this one, which look like trees. You don't even realize it's a cell tower. It looks like a tree at a glance. So you're not gonna take a second look at the tree, unless you love nature and you realize the way that tree is set up is not really natural. Then you start seeing, oh, that's a cell tower. This is the technology that's already in the world now. It's nothing. This is already out there. And this picture will probably become of relevance, as I go on. So going back to Bluetooth, right? It says Bluetooth is a wireless technology standard for exchanging data over short distances using short wavelength UHF radio waves in the ISM band, which is from 2.4 to 2.485 gigahertz. That's the frequency. Said from fixed and mobile devices and building personnel area networks. That's PANs, if you see that stuff in there. It says, invented by telecom vendor Ericsson, which does certain cell phones, cheap cell phones, but they do cell phones, in 1994. It was originally conceived as a concept of a wireless communication technology to increase computer chip capacities as a wireless alternative to RS-232 data cables, the type of data cable, which we all see that symbol all over the place. This is all the stuff that you would want to know about Bluetooth. But before I can get there, something said click on radio waves, because radio waves is how they grab the information. Things are sent out with a frequency, with a signal in a certain frequency, and then it's picked up on a connecting frequency. Well, that's how this chip is going to be. But more importantly, when this EMP hits, it's going to shut those frequencies down, and we're gonna progress into that. Because the world is wired for this whole RFID thing, and so if they hit the EMP, all that internet, Bluetooth, power, all of those frequencies that this energy is passed upon, this technology is passed upon, is going to all shut down, devastating the country, devastating the world, whatever regions that is hit in. So radio waves, right? And this is kind of what it's like. The negatives and positives go, and they send out certain back and forth. That's how you send them back and forth, right? It radiates out. It says animation. That's what the animation is. Anyway, it says radio waves are a type of electromagnetic radiation, right? Microwaves, so, different radiation. It says with wavelengths in the electromagnetic spectrum longer than infrared light. That was in between that gigahertz that I was talking about earlier. It said radio waves, and that was talking about Bluetooth was on a small part of the spectrum, short distance. So radio waves have frequencies as high as 300 gigahertz to as low as 3 kilohertz. Very big to very small. That's why radios can catch frequency from certain distances, right? It says though some definitions describe waves above 1 or 3 gigahertz as microwaves, or include waves of any lower frequency, at 300 gigahertz the corresponding wavelength is 1 mm, I think it's millimeter, is 0.039 inches. It says, and at 3 kilohertz is 100 kilometer and 61 miles. So at 3 kilohertz, that's a 61 mile radius. It's less than an inch at a microwave. That's why your microwave on certain energy levels, you can't stand right that close, because they radiate out to you, and your body is hit with that radiation. Same thing with these radios and these computers and the internet, cell phones, and when it was pagers. All these things omit a radiation, which in cleaning ourselves up, there's different remedies you can do to remove those that radiation from your body. But that's another tale for another day. But it says, like all other electromagnetic waves, they travel at the speed of light. Naturally occurring radio waves are generated by lightning or by astronomical objects, right? Or astronomical, that's key word here. Where somebody drops a major bomb or lightning strikes too hard, it hits off a frequency. Hence the idea of the EMP, which we're about to get into that. And then it goes into the different type of radios, radio transmitters, ground wave, all of these different waves. We're going to follow the catastrophic route, so to speak, which radio frequency engineering. It's where the RF and RFID, right? So you follow it, and it says radio frequency engineering. It says radio frequency engineering is a subset of electrical engineering that deals with devices that are designed to operate in the radio frequency spectrum. It says these devices operate within the range of 3 kilohertz up to 300 gigahertz. 3 kilohertz is 61 miles. Remember that, right? Bluetooth can go closer than that. Like I said, right? It's short range. It's right immediately in the room, next room over maybe, But radio frequency is on a larger scale. A lot more, it covers a lot more distance, right? It says which your chip will go into those, be able to reach that type of, there's cell towers that your chip will be connected to, which will connect you to certain satellites and send the information from that tower to the satellite to wherever it needs to be broadcasted across the country to the next tower, and then to your device, to your chip, or to your cell phone, or to your computer, or your laptop, or your iPad, or whatever. That's the way this thing works. But that's all on a technology scale. So all of this stuff is all technology. That's when that EMP hits, it's going to shut the whole grid down, because they're putting this whole grid on this technological level. Everything is operating on a technical level now. It's all based in technology. Radio frequency engineer, blah blah blah. We don't care about what the people that do it, but it shows you the fields of employment for RFID, right? Or RF, which RFID itself would be radio frequency, which we're looking into identification, meaning they can get your identification through radio frequency, through a transmitted wavelength to pick up and see who you are. That's what that's talking about when you really get deep into what that means. Anyway, it says radio frequency engineering is incorporating almost everything that transmits or receives a radio wave, which includes but not limited to mobile phones, radios, Wi-Fi, and two-way radios. That's everything the people in society are communicating through. Whether that's a TV, whether that's your car, whether that's because these cars got computers now too. And there's chips in them to make them run at a certain level and the engine temperature. All this stuff going on. Anything after 2000, pretty much in your car, is on that system. These oldie cars still run on the basic mechanics that cars were created with. But now this technology is hooked up to such a level that's why it makes it funny. They're going to have you be able to the 2017 car, you can just start your car from your chip without ever using a key. Not just the little key fob or the little proximity key. You don't have to use those. You can just use your chip, proximity with your chip. All of this technology is going to go into this, but all of this technology can get destroyed and taken down with an EMP. Let me see. I think there's a little bit more depths in mathematics, physics and electronics. So what else would I look up? Let me see if I can find it. So let's look at electromagnetic pulse is what I looked up next. That's not it. Let me see. That's a tower. Electromagnetic pulse, right? And it shows the different stuff, little going off, and and those are the frequencies and the waves that are that sprout out like that. That's the radio waves emitting from a single source in the middle, and then almost like if you drop the coin or a pebble into a lake, a still lake, it'll ripples out to everything else, like a seismic with earthquakes, right? Well, let's press on this one. This one has something on it. Yeah, EMP area burst at 30 miles, 120 miles, and 300 miles. It shows you the radius of what they can hit at. It's wide area coverage, 1,000,000 square miles. Intensity depends on weapon design, height, and of burst, location of burst. Depending on where you strategically place these EMPs. Broad frequency range, having a real broad frequency range. We went into the frequency range, threat to all electronics. And it's a threat to all electronics, right? So let me go back. Click on another one or two. Planes are on this, so they'll fall out the sky. Here it says, report of the commission to assess the threat of the United States from electromagnetic pulse attack. Yeah, it's very real. It's very real. See how America looks like that with all the lights beaming, and then Hawaii got lights beaming. Well, you drop an EMP, depending on how many and where they're located and how strong they are, gonna take all that out where it looks like blackness, just like the sea out there. And the Bible describes that. Like they had it on the movie The Matrix when he would hit the EMP from the those Sentinels, I believe they were called. There's a movie about an EMP attack. There's all kinds of stuff. This right here, a nuclear weapon detonation could trigger EMP, but I'm about to get to that when I look up the word. Let's see. Gamma rays, see, they're going in deep. But this is all the technology that Esau in this world has to really use weapons, man. This man is a beast, man. This man is using all these different things to destroy, to control, to bring havoc upon the planet. And now these other countries are picking up the technology, trying to what is this? A Boeing? They have their own EMP emitting drone. That's what it looks like. What that looks like. Let's see here. Then we're gonna get onto some weapon detonates at high altitude. Gamma rays enter atmosphere. Electromagnetic fields disrupts electronics. Yeah, because you want to hit those satellites first. So many systems are affected, including communication networks and aircraft. That's all from the outer layers of the atmospheres on in. Right? I just Googled electromagnetic pulse. They had it in this movie, Ocean's 11, I think that was, or 13, one of those. They got it set off in different places, what would end up happening to this place. Well, everything gets shut off. For you math guys, man, that really pick it up, it shows you how the wave moves vertically and as well and horizontally, as well as on a plane. They show the whole thing. So I don't understand that part, but just understand that if this hits, man, it's very destructive. Yeah, here we go. This is a good one. So the EMP is designed to destroy electronic equipments. Currently, only our military communications infrastructure is protected from an EMP. This leaves all other civilian infrastructure vulnerable, including cell phones, television, radio, and others. Yeah, because they made us switch over. The world made us switch over from digital, from analog to digital. Now everything became technological. So everything, like, but they went back and used some of the old technology in the military, But they're the only ones that are protected from it. The rest of the world is hooked up through computers and technology. So we will know better how to protect ourselves from foreign enemies employing such attacks against us. That's the introduction to the EMP. They have anything else that's pretty good? Yep. Power blackout. Here we go. Because this is when we're going to hit the scripture part. Right? It says power blackout. Missile launched electromagnetic weapon creates power surge across targeted area. Power lines and unprotected communications inside and outside buildings are knocked out. Yep, as well as your car, your cell phones, all types of technological things like pacemakers will be gone. Anything that's on a computer base, technological base that runs off of short range Bluetooth type radio waves or wavelength, or anything longer range like radios, like computers, cell phones. And the more you go, the bigger it is. They're gonna knock out the satellites, the telephone poles. They're gonna knock all of it. Not the telephone poles, the cell towers. They knock all those things out. Look at this one. I thought I saw this one earlier. It said China builds EMP weapons. Why? Because they tired of America, SHIT, man. Tired of them doing, this devil has been a tyrant upon the earth. And these other countries, it said when the scriptures say, let the weak say that I'm strong, it's just tired of their stuff. They're going to stop producing agriculture to put their money of their country into creating a weapon to defend themselves or offend America. Man, that's the bottom line, to battle America. I object. I'm going to go on this, and I'm going to go into something else, and I'm going to go into the scriptures and close out. It says the electromagnetic pulse, EMP, is a fairly recent phenomenon. The goal of an electromagnetic pulse is to damage or destroy all electronic gadgets near the center. The ICs are fried due to EMP. It says specially designed for military purpose to avoid electronic gadget illegally taken by people to enter into the electronics bandit area like museum and temple. Yeah, so you can't even bring them in there, so they have it where that shuts that down. EMP generator. So this EMP is designed to release an electromagnetic pulse. The purpose of the EMP is to induce a potential or voltage that heats up semiconductor material so quickly that it changes the crystal lattice structure of the material and thereby electrically destroying it. Yeah, such a pulse generator can have good military applications. You have to take out communications of another country while you're about to come in, so they take away their eyes and their ears, and it's a whole strategy to that thing, right? That militarily. But what this does is it sends a pulse too great. We're just gonna say it. It sends a pulse too great that the circuits can't handle it, and what it begins to do is fry the whole the network that it's on. If you send, it's like plugging in a 60-watt bulb into something that only is supposed to hold 30 watts. It's gonna blow. Plugging in something into the wall, blowing the circuits. When you plug up a 120 amp circuit into something that's supposed to be 120. 60 or whatever, a 20 watt. I don't know like electricity like that, but you that do, that's what it's basically saying. It's gonna blow the circuit. And that's pretty much what it does. And it takes the flux capacitor, just as a joke, but the flux capacitor, what it did in the movie Back to the Future was like a mini EMP pulse. And it actually pulsed and went into the fabric of time, and where you can go back with, whatever with that. Whether we'll be able to do that in the future, or is to be seen. I'm talking about the men of the Lord through the power of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, and His Son Yahweh Shai. That's teleportation and all those things. But that's, like I said, another story for another tale for another time, another lesson for another time. Anyway, Wikipedia says an electromagnetic pulse, EMP, also sometimes called a transient electromagnetic disturbance, because it's a short burst of electromagnetic energy. Such a pulse origination may be a natural occurrence or man-made, and can occur in a radiated electric or magnetic field, or in a conducted electric current, depending on the source. Yeah, depending on the source, it can get onto all different. It can just be whatever's in the blast radius. It can hit all the things that's electric, or a certain magnetic field. It'll be within that, or hit inside of electric current. Like if you blow your radio out for putting it on the wrong, or you blow your battery, explodes for putting your positives on the negative, and crossing the wires with that. That's the type of ideal it is. It says EMP interference is generally disruptive or damaging to electronic equipment. And the world running on electronics right now, 2017, it says, and at higher energy levels, a powerful EMP event, such as a lightning strike, a natural event right there, can damage physical objects such as buildings and aircraft structures. Because you can't measure. Esau found a way to measure the power of lightning strikes and all of that, but you can't limit the power that the Most High will put into a natural event, into an earthquake, into a lightning strike. You can't measure that. He can just make it as hard as he wants. And that could be catastrophic. A certain high level can break buildings and aircraft structures. It says the management of EMP effects is an important branch of electromagnetic compatibility engineering. Yep. To see what's compatible to that and what's not. It said weapons have been developed to create the damaging effects of high energy EMP. Like I said, in my mind, the thunder and lightning, a lightning strike, was like probably the idea of EMP, because you'll be out in a storm, especially in the South. There are a lot of lightning storms in different places like that get a lot of storms. Lightning storm hit and all the power go out, and basically the radiation hits, or the radius of the power surge from the lightning created surged out and knocked out a certain community's power grid. In which says weapons have been developed to create damaging effects of high energy EMP. Misleading or incorrect information about such weapons, both real and fictional, have become known to the public by means of popular culture and some politicians' claims. Misleading information includes both exaggeration of EMP effects and downplaying the significance of the EMP threat. Now, where I'm going to go with this next is into the Bible, because if the claims of what an EMP can do, and we just read about what it talks about, you shut down this whole grid system from power, and you people gonna bug out, man. But that's no different than what the Most High did to Egypt. He plagued that place with darkness, man. He plagued that place with darkness, and the people were bugging out. Let me go first before I go. Let me go to Exodus, the 10th chapter, and I think around the 20th verse. Let me see. Yeah, 21. Yeah, 21. Exodus 10 and 21. It says, and the Lord, and I think the brothers read this in the LA live show, so it reminded me, the Spirit, hit me. I got to put this out, and I had a couple lessons, ideas that I want to do. But when brothers went into this, I figured out it was most important that I put this one out next. Anyway, it was the Spirit. So, Exodus 10 and 21 said, and the Lord Yahweh, which the Heavenly Father's name is Yahweh, his son, who you ignorantly called Jesus Christ, his name Yahweh in the ancient Hebrew. Anyway, it says, and the Lord Yahweh said unto Moses, stretch out thine hand toward heaven, and there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be felt, gross darkness. I looked it up. Let's see if I can pull it up or if I can look it up again. Because when I looked up darkness, it said, I remember seeing something to, let me see. Let's see, darkness. But it was like darkness, non-light absorbing. Yep. Let's see what we got. Noon light. Anyway. Basically what I got, it got real scientific. With this is kind of a scientific lesson. I want non, not noon. Let's see if it comes up better. Wow, it's a bullshit. See for what I want. But basically what happens is, yeah, we'll use this. Basically, certain things are so dark that light can't, because of the color it is, light can absorb it. Light absorbs instead of reflects, and that's when you see light flashing or coming off a certain color. Certain elements project back a color into your eye because it has that type of what's the word I want to use, or what's the scientific word for it, but it's like this, light transmittance. Yeah, something that's so dark that light can't reflect off of it. That's the word I want. Reflect off of it because of the composition of it. It'll show you a certain color that'll reflect off of it. That's why some things look white, which is one of the brighter ones of the spectrum, omitting the most light, all the way to down the spectrum to reds. Certain elements are in that make the red come through, and then the other things not come through, the other colors of the spectrum not come through, all the way down to the whole spectrum having its particular elements, for lack of a better term, that reflect that light. Well, when it's gross darkness and that type of real darkness, it has nothing to reflect off of. It has nothing that it'll hit on those certain elements in there and send a signal back to your eye that you can see. Well, when it's that dark out there, darkness that it may be felt, there's nothing. It's so dark. There's nothing for it to go off of. There's nothing that's gonna reflect light back into your eye. That's why if you take a small light and you put it up, a small, candle, okay, that's cool to walk around with. But if you put it up next to a big wall, it's gonna shine that little bitty candlelight off of that big wall, and then it's gonna illuminate the room more than it would with the candle by itself if it was in the center of the room. In a dark room, you put up against a white wall in a dark room, it's gonna emit more light than it would. That's the idea of a lampshade. A lampshade helps emit the light also, right? Balance it, sends it out throughout the whole room also. Anyway, it says, and Moses stretched forth his hand. This is back in Exodus 10 and 22. It says, and Moses stretched forth his hand toward heaven, and there was a thick darkness in all the land 3 days, 72 hours of darkness. After the first 16 hours, you don't believe the light's going to come back on. You're like, damn, this is forever. This is long, right? The next 8 hours become like you don't believe it's coming back on. When you hit around the 48-hour mark, you're now delusional because your whole eyes have adjusted to the darkness, but there's nothing that you can see, that your mind is plaguing you with it. And that's where these apparitions we're going to get into come into play. The brothers even touched upon out in LA. This is all because this man wants to control everybody. So he's technologically put the whole world or as much of it as he can control, but mainly America. He's put America all on this technological advancement to everybody's tapped in, and then he even wants to make people transhuman, meaning part machine, part human being, to where so they'll take that chip, so he'll have complete control of them, can shut you off if he don't like you, like robots, if you're being bad or whatever, according to what he thinks. And then if somebody drops an EMP on that, which it talks about the gross darkness, which the only thing that can do it in 2017, not the only thing, but what the realistic thing that would make it happen in 2017 is an EMP attack. So if that happened, all these things make sense that of the possibility of it. And the scriptures talk about these different things. The mark of the beast being an RFID chip is in there. You see, the world is based in technology now. You know, people fight and kill on Black Friday for technology, for a new cell phone, a new computer, a new TV, a new iPad or tablet or whatever else. Video games. People going crazy nowadays for this technology, not realizing they're being conditioned to be in such a technological state that somebody drops the EMP, it shuts all that down, man. It shuts you down, man. You know, it's gonna shut down society. The movie Transcendence had that in it. If you brothers haven't checked that movie out yet, great movie. Check it out. Check out the many different folds, the many different levels that you can perceive the movie in. Very, very good movie. Johnny Depp movie. Anyway, it says he blacked it out for 3 days. It says they saw not one another, neither rose from his place for 3 days, because they couldn't see. And think about it, if you can't see, I don't know if a lot of you people, especially you Jakes out there, I don't think you've ever been in a situation where, okay, your lights in your house may be cut off. Most Jakes have to deal with that. You got candles, whatever. But you've never dealt with the street lights off. When the street lights are off, you can see how dark it gets. When the street lights are off and all the lights in the house are off, and you know there's no car lights, when there's no cars running, when everything's quiet, because there's no electricity running through the world, people bug out. People can't deal with that type of darkness, man. But then that's for 10 minutes, or 4 hours or 6 hours or something. Let that be for 72 hours. Go 72 hours like that. These people gonna lose their mind. It says, and Moses stretched forth his hand toward heaven, and there was a thick darkness in all the land 3 days. They saw not one another, neither rose from his place for 3 days, but all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings. Yep, the elect. This is going to represent the elect. And it's not even the physical light that we're going to have. The spiritual light will be enough for us. You know? Anyway, it says, and Pharaoh, that's relating it to the times to come. It says, and Pharaoh called upon Moses, and you know, and that's basically what happened. So let's go now to let's hit the chip right quick. Might as well, since we're here. It's always good to hit the RFID chip. In Revelation 13, starting at the 16th verse, it says, and he called, Revelation 13:16, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, that no man might buy or sell, save he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 600, threescore, which threescore is, one score is 20. 20 times 3 is 60. 660 and 6 is what the math of that becomes. You know? So that he causes all to have the mark, right? That you can't buy or sell. That's the RFID. If you're not tapped into this beast system of his allegiance with this chip, you can't function. So everybody, but they have to market and sway the world's views toward a technological state, a technocracy, as some people have said it, to where technology is becoming a democracy among the people of how you deal. You're thinking of a technology first. You know, when you deal, you know, money is going to be electronic, which is technological. You know, with Bitcoin and things that represent it online. in the cloud and in the technological world, not in physical paper money and coin or silver and gold or jewels. So that's that. So that's gonna be on that system as well, along with everything else, right? So let's go to I always like getting this script because when there's total darkness, man, the brothers got it earlier, but it's just a beautiful something to continually read, and just make it this, and then I'll close out. It says, for great are thy judgments. This is Wisdom of Solomon 17. For great are thy judgments and cannot be expressed. Yeah, because these judgments, all the judgment that the scriptures tell you about, each one is tailor made for the individual. Whether it's righteousness for the elect, or your wickedness and your destruction of the wicked, man. You 2/3 Israelites is gonna catch it bad, man. You Edomites is gonna get it bad, man. You other nations is gonna get it bad. The elect is gonna have it hard and difficult, but they're gonna see where they're gonna make it through. And it's gonna be rewarding, once you make it through. But the judgments are great and cannot be expressed, for unnurtured souls have erred. And basically the wicked gonna get jacked up. It says, for when unrighteous men thought to oppress the holy nation, and being shut up in their houses, the prisoners of darkness, this is spiritual darkness, not about physical darkness right here, and fettered with the bonds of a long night, they lay there exiled from the external providence. Let's see if we can get to the point. Yeah, the dark veil. This is all spiritual darkness that's going to become. So your spiritual darkness will then translate into a physical darkness that you'll have to deal with. Let me see if I can skim down. Yeah. Matter of fact, verse 3 says, for while they supposed to lie hid in their secret sins, they were scattered under a dark veil of forgetfulness, being horribly astonished. And this is in reality, because you had these secret sins within you as a man that you knew you did. You didn't repent. You heard the men of the Lord out there warning you that your evil ways, your wicked ways were going to catch up to you. This word goes out to the whole four corners of the earth. You can't run from that. It says, being horribly astonished at what? At the destruction and all the how dark it is, and all the terror that's going around, the fear that's in the air, and troubled with strange apparitions. So now it's so dark you're beginning to see things. The Most High is plaguing your mind, but showing you things that you've never seen before. A lot of them will be real, but some of them will be in your mind, and it will bug you out, and you mess around and have a heart attack, man, from fear. It says, for neither might the corner that held them keep them from fear, but noises of waters falling down sounded about them, and sad visions appeared unto them with heavy countenances. Yeah, man, sad visions came to them. Rushing waters, man. Stuff, and water's powerful, man. And Jake still shook about drowning from the whole Noah thing. Reading on, it says, no power of the fire might give them light. Whether that's electricity, what's going to take electricity out? The EMP. But also saying if you lit a candle, there won't be anything. The darkness is so thick, there's nothing for light to bounce off of and reflect, to radiate light, to emanate light off of, that your eye will be able to pick it up. It won't be nothing for that. It says, neither could the bright flames of the stars endure to lighten the horrible night. Hey, there's about to be an eclipse, I believe tomorrow, Monday night, or Monday, solar eclipse. The moon will come and block out the sun. Back when we were in school, man, they said that this wouldn't happen that often. This was a rare thing, decades and millennia and whatever else before this happens again. Well, this stuff is popping off every other day now, man, which are all signs of the Heavenly Father that he's about to make his return. He's about to send his son back to return and set it up and set it off right. It says, horrible night. It says, only there appeared unto them a fire kindled of itself, very dreadful. Yeah, sitting there alone. You can't even see the candlestick. You're just seeing the edge of the flame. But it's not emitting light into the rest of the room or wherever else around you, because it's not banking off anything. You know, just like you guys out there that run at night and you see certain athletic equipment, jogging, jackets and shoes or whatever that have a reflector on it. That reflector is meant to pick up light on a certain spectrum that your eye can see any light from anywhere. Pointing that direction, well, it'll radiate light off of it. It'll emit light from that reflector. Well, there's not going to be anything. It's not going to be able to get through that. If there was a flame, it's not going to be able to emit at a high enough frequency or bright enough light to hit off those reflectors, man. It's going to be that. That's how thick and how dark it will be if the Most High allowed this EMP thing to hit. It says, only it appeared unto them a fire kindled of itself, very dreadful, for being much terrified. They thought the things which they saw to be worse than the sight they saw not. The things that they saw was way worse than what they actually had ever seen with their own life. Being in a pit of lions, well, that had nothing compared to what they were envisioning. They're envisioning all types of crazy madness to come in and destroy them. And that's going to happen to you people also. You watch all these paranormal movies, you watch all these crazy, scary movies and all this stuff, and think it's a real cartoons that got crazy visions to it. Putting that, and then your imagination put with that, man, you're going to bug out, man. And the Most High going to make sure you bug out. So it says, as of the illusions of art magic, they were put down, and their vaunting in wisdom was reproved with disgrace. Yeah, all the pride you thought you had, you saw some shit that you never thought you'd ever see before, and it's bugging you out. Where you were once smart, now you're dumbfounded, so to speak. Right? It said, for they that promised to drive away terrors and troubles from a sick soul were sick themselves of fear, worthy to be laughed at. All you that say, I'm going to pray for you in the name of Jesus, I'm going to cast out demons off of you, and all of that. They couldn't, tarot card readers, doctors, all these wise people in the earth that thought they were these false prophets, all these people that thought that they were really something special in the earth as far as controlling a situation like that, they're going to be bugged out themselves. They're going to be bugged out themselves, man. Not just, the people that they're trying to help, but they're going to be bugged out. How you going to help somebody when you bugged out? You see that lion chasing us that's around? No, but I see a damn dragon that's right there. It's going to be crazy on these people. It said, they die for fear. No, let me start up. Yeah, it says, for verse 8 still, it says, for they that promised to drive away terrors and troubles from a sick soul were sick themselves, worthy to be laughed at. Bugged out crazy, man. Went crazy, loony bin. It says, for though no terrible thing did fear them, because they wasn't scared. They was just doing all types of wicked sin. Didn't know that there was going to be a judgment or a punishment from the Heavenly Father. A righteous indignation, according to the level of your worst fears. Because some people aren't afraid to catch a bullet to the head. Some people aren't afraid to be hung. Some men out there aren't afraid to have their head in the guillotine and chopped off. Some men aren't afraid of the dark. But whatever your worst fears are, the Most High gonna bring that to you. If you're a wicked ass nigga, man, he gonna bring that to you. Now, I don't mean just for blacks. I mean Mexican niggas, white niggas, black niggas. Any of you jakes that ain't getting right according to the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahshua, you 2/3, he gonna jack you up, man. It says, for they died for fear, denying that they saw the air, which could of no side be avoided. Yeah, there's nowhere you can turn. It was right there waiting on you. It said, for wickedness condemned of their own witness is very timorous, and being oppressed with conscience, always forecasting grievous things, because you was just wicked to the core. So everything that's going to come to you is going to reflect that wickedness back upon you in fear. You know, a brother on the comment board of the live show tonight said, yeah, you're going to fear, I believe it was a brother, you know, if it was a sister, my bad, or whatever. But he said, you're going to fear one way or the other. You're going to have a healthy fear like we have to stay away from this and not get jacked up, or you're going to have that fear where you're going to bug out, man, and damn near have a heart attack and die from these apparitions, man. And this chapter goes on, man. This whole chapter is a great chapter, you know. Like it says in, let me see if I can go to it. I'm going to just hit this because this is just a good one. And I don't want to hit the whole Deuteronomy, the whole Wisdom of Solomon 17 chapter for interest of time. So I'm going to jump straight to Deuteronomy 28, and it's like 64. Yeah, right here. 65 said, and among these nations thou shalt find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But the Lord, this is what was going to happen. Even when this darkness comes, this part's going to be part of what's going on. We have that now, generally, but it's going to be on a real concentrated and heavy level also in the day of the Lord, when it's all that gross darkness, if they drop the EMP. It says, but the Lord shall give thee a trembling heart. Everybody going to be scared. And failing of eyes. You're going to see apparitions. You're not going to see what you think it is. You're going to be bugging out. And sorrow of mind. You're always going to be worried about things. It says, and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee. You're going to be like, man, I'm about to die right now. Like the description of hearing a lion, man, next to you, feet away. If you hear, a brother brought out on the live show that you can hear a lion, like the radius of a lion's growl, it's like 5 miles or something. So you hear that 5 miles away, or if it sounds 3 miles away or a mile away, you're going to be shook. A mile away, you'll be shook. Let alone if it's 100 feet away, man. 100 feet away, man. You're going to shit on yourself, man. You're going to have a heart attack before the lion can even get you. And that might not even be a real lion there. It may just be in your mind, and you're going to bugging out from an apparition. It says, the Lord Yahweh shall give thee a trembling heart, and failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night. Well, there ain't going to be no day if they drop the EMP. You know, it's just going to be a gross darkness, because the clouds and the chariot's supposed to cover the whole sky, where there's no light coming from there either. That darkness is going to get you, man. That darkness is going to get you. It says, thou shalt fear day and night, and none shall have assurance of thy life. In the morning thou shalt say, would God it were even. I wish it was nighttime in the day. Man, I wish it was nighttime so I can go to fuck to sleep, man. I'm scared. And at even thou shalt say, would God it were morning. Oh, man, I don't want to go back to sleep because I'm having nightmares. I wish the day would just come so I could wake up and be, you know, and the light will be out. The sun will be out shining. Make me feel better. Get my mind off of this. That's how people gonna bug out. But the plague ain't gonna stop. It says, but I'm showing you that these are spiritual things the Heavenly Father's talking about in this book. Of how He's gonna destroy and torture these people. You know, like the scriptures say, through the terror of the Lord we persuade men. You know, we persuade you. By the terror the Heavenly Father going to do, persuade you to what? Persuade you to do the righteous thing that the Bible speaks of, going out and teach, prophesying, studying, being about the brotherhood, so on and so forth. The things we know that this book puts out there to ease or get our sins wiped away, so we don't have to get destroyed like the rest of these people, man. You must be chosen of the elect for that to happen. You know? Anyway, it says, for the fear of thine heart, which is thy mind, wherewith thou shalt fear, and then for the sight of thine eyes, which thou shalt see. That's going to play a role even in that day, man. You know, there's other levels that plays out, But that in that day will be a concentrated dose of that, of that prophecy of that scripture right there, fulfillment of that scripture right there. Let me go back to Wisdom of Solomon 17, because I think there's more in here. I'm not sure where I was at. Still up a little high. Yeah. It says, verse 9 says, this is Wisdom of Solomon 17 and 9. For though no terrible thing did fear them, yet being scared with beasts that pass by and the hissing of serpents. Nothing scared you before. You was tough guy back then. But now beasts that pass by within a close range of you, that you know that they can probably see in the dark or that they can smell you, it's going to bug you out, man. You scared. Serpents and whatnot that you can't see, you're going to hear them. They're going to be like right there. Hey, I done been walking, I don't want to say down a mountain, but that's kind of what it was. I was on a mountain and I heard the rattle of a rattlesnake. Or I thought I did. I took off running. Just off, oh shit, and just took off running for my life. Jumping off rocks and trying to get out of there, man. Anyway, it says, for they died for fear, denying that they saw the air, which could of no side be avoided. For wickedness condemned by their own witness is very timorous, and being pressed with conscience, always forecasting grievous things. Yeah, I jumped down, then I jumped back up right there. It says, verse 12, for fear is nothing else but the betraying of the succors which reason offereth. You won't be able to reason with what you're seeing, what's going on. And that's the level of fear, your worst imaginative fears that you could ever come up with. The Most High gonna go one level past that, man, and bug you people out. All as torture, an amendment of your hearts, man, of your mind, of your spirit. That you were wicked. Oh yeah, you're gonna be wicked. I'm gonna bug you out and punish you that way. Like some people don't fear death, so he gonna bug them out and give them their worst fears: fear of drowning, fear of falling, fear of being eaten alive by an animal, all kinds of stuff, man. It says, verse 14, I think it lines up with Deuteronomy. It says, but they sleeping the same sleep that night, which was indeed intolerable because they was having nightmares, and which came upon them out of the bottoms of inevitable hell, that they knew that they was going to die, man. It was going to lead them to the grave. It was inevitable. It was so scary. It's so real. Imminent death is coming. And it's the truth. That's going to happen to you. He's going to scare the shit out of you and then have a way for you to die a very painful death. A lot of people make light about these missiles. A missile blast could set off an EMP. Not that there'll be anything left after these ICBM missiles are let off. But if there's any technology that happened to be around, the radius of the blast is going to knock that out. The power surge of that bomb going off is going to knock that out. I'm going to read a couple more verses and close out. Yeah, verse 15. Were partly vexed with monstrous apparitions and partly fainted, their heart failing them, their mind failing them. They can't perceive or understand what's going on because something they've never seen before. For a sudden fear and not looked for came upon them. Their worst nightmare, the one thing they couldn't comprehend happening is what's happening. A dinosaur's coming back. All types of crazy things, spliced new ligers and whatever else around here. Ligers are like the cuddly things that the Most High created that he's showing you. He allowed this devil to splice and do shit. There's going to be things that's way worse and way in a more violent spirit. They said that's why the liger, Esau said that's why his liger failed, which is the lion and the tiger. It failed because they couldn't even reproduce and they were kind of docile. They didn't have that real tiger lion ferocity, see verse 16. So then whatsoever there fell down was straitly kept shut up in the prison without iron bars. You're trapped in a mental hell, man. You're trapped in a mental hell, which was given unto you spiritually. He allowed them demons and them spirits to jack you up, man, because you was a wicked ass person. Yep, I mean it goes into detail. This actually goes into detail. But my point, so you can go into the chapter, brother went into it, you can go into this chapter and really read about it. I'm going to close out. But the point being, when you electromagnetic pulse hits, it's going to create gross darkness, man. It's going to create gross darkness if an EMP hit this country, because everything's on a technological level, you know, with the whole Bluetooth and radio frequency, which the radio frequency is your chip. That's why they're building the society up to be able to for everybody to be hooked into this, connect into a technological world, because they want to control you through the chip, through the radio frequency identification, you know, so they can grab your information, know it's you. Okay, it's John Doe, Joe Blow, whatever. You know, he's just walked into this grocery store. I don't know why he's walking in there, because he doesn't have any money on his chip, on his account, you know? So he must be there to steal. On and on and on. Esau is diabolical that way, trying to figure out the psyche of what men do. And this is a level of control that he would love to put out there with the RFID chip. Well, this whole Bluetooth, radio frequency, radio wavelength thing, that can be shut down with the EMP, man. When that gets shut down with the EMP, because we rely so heavily upon that type of power grid system, it's a wrap for you people, man. You people gonna bug out, man. It's gonna be a wrap. The Most High gonna plague you people, man. So when I walked into this building and saw this on the door, I was like, wow, it just, my mind easily went down that route of, they're taking information, location information from your mobile device. That the only way that you can avoid it or not participate in it is if you shut your shit off. You know, you basically have to shut it off, power off, or cut off your Bluetooth and your Wi-Fi, because they're collecting data from you. I didn't. I was like, fuck it, I ain't gonna be here long. I didn't do it. You know, so went from that to that connecting me to the RFID radio waves, and you see how all of that's invisible. It's there. Just because you don't see it don't mean it ain't there. Stuff translates. That's why if you listen to satellite radio and you pass under a bridge, the connection misses, because the feed is blocked off by the bridge for a little while. Because even though you can't see it's connected, it's really the energy that your eyes can't see is connected. Those wavelengths and frequencies are connected. You know? So if the EMP hits this place, man, it's gonna shut this place down, man. It's gonna bug people out. It could really destroy this country by hitting the EMP over here. Well, it looks like the Most High is gonna do it all. Somebody hit the EMP, somebody hit the missile, man. Just destroy this place, man. Looks like all our worst fears, all the greatest things that could possibly happen, is gonna happen to this place, man. So with that, I'm gonna close out. You know, Lord willing, brothers was edified by this lesson, you know, about the whole way, how it's reasonable about the RFID, and the whole Bluetooth thing connects to that, and the whole thing about an EMP shutting down all technology, you know, because this whole place is designed now at this point to run off of technology. Man, it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the Heavenly Father, man. So what manner of conversation are we to be? What manner of men are we to be? You know, in all holy conversation. You know, so we supposed to be speaking the wisdom of this book in fear of the Heavenly Father, of what he could do if we don't do the best of our ability, man. Yeah, we're rehearsing, but he knows what the best of our ability is. So with that, man, I'm closing out. Say all praises and glories unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone who rule well. And greetings, salutations, and blessings unto the house of David, the elect, those that will be chosen for salvation when the coming destruction, whether it be EMP, missiles, and whatever else, that the chariots have to come down here and rescue you out of, man. With that, I say shalom.